Girls on me, on the dance floor, all eyes on me. Party like a rock star. You can find me in VIP, all eyes on me. Yeah, where the girls are, with the Italian nights with me.
All right. Welcome everybody to Gogotalx, brought to you by Gogotalx. I'm your host, as always, Malachi Johnson. Today we are joined by my man, E-Time of CCB, Critical Condition Band. How are you, sir?
I'm good, my brother. I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Thanks for joining us today. Everybody that's on Instagram, make sure to head over to youtube.com/Gogotalx. That way you can see the other side of the conversation as well, and you'll be able to hear E-Time a little bit better. Well, I thank you for coming on today, sir, especially with such short notice. So I know you're the lead talker now, but I know at one point you were the drummer, and you and I played to get filled with backyard, as Chauncey reminded me the other day. At times. So I guess I should have had a little bit better planning, and I could have called this Drummers December, because next week we got Blue Eye, and then
Okay.
but the week after that I got Stomp Dog. So it's like all drummers for some, or at least you're a former drummer for the whole month of December. So I should have planned my promo out a little bit better. But
you got some heavy hitters on there.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming on. So let's start at the beginning. How did you get into music and go and give us the whole story, man? Take your time.
I mean, as far as music, my father is a thoroughbred musician. I would say he plays pretty much every musician. I only play. I do play horn, trombone. Well, I'm washed up with that. I ain't played that in I don't know how long, probably like 10+ years. But I came up on the trombone.
Did you learn that in school? Did you study trombone in school? I'm asking that because a lot of the talk around why go-go is not quite as important to the younger generation now is because they took the music programs out of the school. So I'm curious if you learned to play trombone in school, or you just decided you wanted to play it.
I didn't learn how to. I would say I enhanced my skill playing in school because I grew up in Church of United House of Prayer with my father, and they horn bass in it. They horn bass, sousaphone, trumpets, and a lot of trombone action in it. And it's no really reading music. You got to pick up playing by ear. So that's how I just fell in love with that horn sound, that screaming horn sound. So Pops bought me a trumpet one year. I asked for a trumpet. Or I asked for a cornet. That's a smaller trumpet. My musicians definitely know that. And I'm thinking of the trombone though. Man, he came around the corner. I was a little teed up. He came around the corner, cranking the cornet. I'm like, man, this is definitely not what I expected. I'm trombone for Christmas and all that good stuff, man. But crazy little story. But ended up getting me a trombone, taking that back, getting me a trombone, and I would say middle school. Yeah, middle school. Went to Benjamin Starr Middle School, over there on the Maryland side, and it was over from there. High school, played in the high school as well too.
So middle school, you say you went over to the Maryland side. Was that so you grew up in DC until middle school and then you moved to Maryland? Is that
a little bit of both? For like my younger years, I was born, I wouldn't say raised in DC, like back and forth a little bit, from DC to Maryland. But I went to school. I went to DC school, Manor Elementary, and I went to Benjamin Starr when I left Manor, and then I went to Cross the high school.
Gotcha. I'm from Maryland, so none of that Maryland Bama judgment over here. Don't worry.
No. Majority of my years, I lived in Maryland. So Maryland, like DC, man, I don't even get caught up in all that for real.
That's what I'm saying. But you know how DC people are. So
Oh yeah, definitely. But them drums stayed in there. The drums pretty much slid up in there. I would say middle school, I would say that middle school, got a drum pad. Pops got me a drum pad, and it was just, I mean, he's musically inclined, so he had me trying different things and all that. And I'm not gonna say I fell in love with the drums because I was on that horn hard for a minute,
Okay.
and I just jumped into it really with my first band, Ultimate Youngest, in middle school. That's when I really started falling in love with drums.
I'm interested. I'm interested to know because you don't hear that many people. Well, I shouldn't say that many people. My brother's a saxophone player, like a far better saxophone player than I'm a guitar player. So it's not like you don't ever hear anybody saying that they want to play the horn. But usually, I mean, especially from where we're from, coming up with go-go, like you hear more people interested in the drums. So I'm interested in, it's different to hear you say you were more interested in the horn than you were in the drums. Who were like some of the musicians that you looked up to? Like, what was it about the trombone that made you? Yeah, what was it about?
Just to keep it all the way 100, which I'm not gonna sit here and say like I grew up on a specific trombone player. I did listen to a lot of trombone shorty, like mainly trombone shorty. But I grew up in a trombone based like environment with the House of Prayer. What's that 7th and M in Northwest? So just hearing those guys like and seeing that, like it was just like, man, I gotta do that. Like the drums up there, like you don't really see. It's not a drum set. They play what they play? Hi-hats, bass drum, and like that's really it. They don't even really play snare sometimes. It's a separate guy that's playing like maybe the snare, or he playing the marching hi-hats as well too though. So it's like a crazy little setup a little bit, and I wasn't really attracted to that until I got hip to the go-go.
Got it. So what was your first experience with go-go?
What was my first experience with go-go?
Yeah, if you remember, just not even playing, but just encountering it, like, or was it just
And I was saying in the lunchroom, in Benjamin Stoddard, our old percussion player Pooh. So Pooh used to do like some crazy stuff back in the day. He used to have these 3 rollatons. Used to bring them to school, and like before school already started. Sure, set them up, just like be playing them and all that stuff like that. Once again, I'm hip to the drums, but I wasn't really like I want to play some drums or whatever. So him and one of my good friends, Donovan. Donna was a pretty good drummer back in the middle school days, I would say. And like him and Pooh used to just hit the basic breakdown, the Unabomber breakdown over and over and over and over and over. So I'm like, man, I could do that better than him. Let me try to do that, but it was just one of those funny little things that ended up jumping on the drums and not really knowing what I was doing. And my good man Donovan and Pooh too kind of really settled me in a little bit. It was like, this is how you play a pocket, and it's how you play a socket and a breakdown and the old school one-on-one. You know what I'm saying? So I just started playing it, getting put out of class a lot, going to detention. The old school desk used to have like the metal piece right there with the little wood desk area. That was my hi-hat. With a pencil pen, whatever, beating on those with a tom. School calling home, telling parents. After a while, moms and pops just, bump heads, got the drum set, and it was on from there. It was all she wrote there.
So you said what was the name of the first band you played with? You said
Ultimate Youngest.
Ultimate Youngest. And sorry, I missed it. You were playing drums with them, or you were playing the horn with them?
No, I was playing the drum. I never played the horn with no band.
Gotcha. So what year was this roughly, Ultimate Youngest, that you started playing with them? You remember?
Ultimate Youngest, I say about I was in middle school. We was in middle school about 90. I say about 99, somewhere around there. 99, 2000, 99. I would say 98 through 2000. Yeah, 98 through 2000.
Okay, and then what came after that?
CCB. That's when CCB came.
Okay, so that was CCB. Was this only the second band you played for?
Yeah, I mean, I've danced around, like filled in with a couple guys, like after my CCB, situation. But yeah, Ultimate Youngest, because it was like strange little story. With Ultimate Youngest, like a lot of musicians that played with Ultimate Youngest and Fatal Attraction, kind of meshed together, became CCB, like so to speak. Well, a lot of the thoroughly musicians, they came to play, you know, came on board with CCB. CCB definitely originated from Curl in DC. But yeah, Ultimate Young's that good CCB band. Started playing drums with CCB from Ultimate Young's. Well, no. I ain't stopped playing drums with CCB. I started actually managing CCB. I was managing CCB. My friend Smitty, he actually asked me, you know, because I like around my neighborhood in Temple Hills, like it wasn't really no go-go bands, you know. So Ultimate Youngers with the house parties and all that, we used to throw a lot of house parties. And we also used to open up with Junkyard, Northeast Groovers, and Backyard. American Legions back then, a lot of firehouses back then. Yeah, one summer, but we broke up then one summer. Smith, our old saint, he asked me, "Won't you manage or something like that?" I was a teenager. I ain't really know nothing about no management, but of course, I would say, yeah, some friends, a neighborhood, whatever the case may be. They already had their little band going on, so pretty much I brought some guys I had with me that I knew can get down. You know, we pretty much put the thing together from there like that.
So who was it? So when you joined the band, so you started managing CCB first. So who was in the band when you started managing, if you remember?
Dude, B Sale was on drums. My man Ross was on the Congos. Brandon was on the toms. Smitty was singing. Squawk was singing. Snugs was on the lead. Some other cats. Page on the keys, and that was pretty much it. I ain't really have Page was on the bass. I don't remember who was on keys then. A-Train was on keys. Yeah.
Okay. And so what do you think it was? Why do you think Smith will ask you to manage? Like what did he see in you that would make him think that you were qualified to manage the band?
That's a good question. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's a great question right there. I never asked him that for real, but I'm assuming because like from the Ultimate Youngest thing we was doing, he seen we was kind of like get busy. Like for us to be like teenagers that young, opening up for Northeast Groovers, Backyard, you know, that was that dope for us as youngins, especially coming around the neighborhood, summertime, talking about to hit the show, all this and all that. We wasn't even supposed to be in some of them events like that, like really playing. We were so young, but you know.
So you were the one getting those shows.
Nah, I really wasn't getting no. It was just like a title for real, like at that time. And I only fake managing for like 2 months, and then I fully joined the band, and I started playing the toms. I was playing roller toms, and then I played drums. Started playing drums with some of my guys, and you know things moved around. We're really having a lot of guys actually went to college from that CCB era right there. They went to college, and you know, we just put it together. Pretty much put it together. Me and my man, some of the front line, some of the musicians they had, we just pretty much put it together from there.
Gotcha. So what made you switch from fake managing, as you call it, to the Roller Toms and Timbales?
Managing was, I don't even know what I was doing managing in the first place at that time. Like it was like, yeah, I do it, you know. So, and then at that time, you know, it was a cool title. The girls, you pulling up to the practice, they was practicing up at the school a lot of the little events there, whatever. But I mean, they knew I can thoroughly play them drums as well too, though. So that probably was the ultimate plan. We never really talked about that at that time, but I'm quite sure that was the plan. You know, they just made that transition from that to AE. You know, any guys that you could bring over from your side, you know, that can help do this or do that. So that's pretty much what it was. Now.
So there was so you were playing in the first band in middle school, and then you came over to CCB, and then guys left for college. Either there was a few years that spanned in between that time, or else you were really young, and some of the other guys in CCB were older.
Yeah, the oldest was Chauncey. Like we was all pretty much young, but like
hold up.
Like, so I pretty much did.
You need to notice you just offended me because you know me and Chauncey are literally exactly the same age. We have the same birthday and everything. I've known
Oh
Chauncey
man,
since college. Chauncey is crazy as shit. What's
that's
up,
what's
Mike?
up,
We got
bro.
Mike Arnold on here watching. Me and Mike Arnold played in our first go-go band together. So that's that's
That's pretty
uh,
dope, man. Oh, I ain't mean to do that to you, my brother. I ain't mean to do that. But Chauncey
no, it's
definitely
all good.
older than all of us. So
Yeah, no, I'm slightly older, but yeah, you just call me an old man. It's all good. It's all good. But
uh,
okay, so you move
it
over,
is a
and then
slight gap in there.
gotcha. So you moved from management to the Timbales because you didn't know why you were managing in the first place. But then why did you move
Yeah.
from roll toms and timbales then to drums? I'm just interested in this because I think like it's always interesting to hear like how like why people move around from position to position, and because go-go typically it's like the neighborhood band. It's not like, oh yeah, I'm a professional guitar player and I come up in this band to play guitar. Is more like my homie asked me to come join a band, and and then I realized that I really played the bass better than I played the drums or something like that, and people switch around. You know what I mean? So, oh, my man, chop up in here, my man Donique up in here. What's going on, family? So, so what made you switch to the drums from the rototom?
Once
I guess.
again, like the Toms, that was a in practice move. Like I'm in practice as a manager, you know what I'm saying? And I think I don't exactly remember, but I think the owner of the Tom player didn't come if he was late or something like that. And that was just me. I'm a percussionist by heart. So um I just started playing them. I just started playing them, and I ended up playing like the whole practice or parts of the practice somewhere around something like that. And I just got on set. I mean, the guy that's my man, but the guy who was on set, like it wasn't gonna be that, what I'm saying? We had to make
That's
some
what I was
moves.
about to ask you because you were probably still at least quasi the manager. Did you fire the old drummer so you could take his spot? That's fucked up, man.
Nah, I ain't go like that, man. Look how you crazy, man. I definitely ain't go like that. Nah, you
Slice his neck
ain't go
like
like
you're
that.
out of here, buddy. I'm taking your shit.
Nah. It was just a situation like no BS though. A lot of the guys was like, so I think I came to CCP. It was that because we broke up, Ultimate Youngest broke up like during our high school years. And I want to say my junior, it was either the junior summer or the senior year. Once I can't remember exactly, but um matter, yeah, somewhere around there. I don't know, somewhere around there. But it was some talk like them guys was gonna be, either leaving the group or some college stuff was going on or whatever the case may be. And then it just happened. I don't remember exactly. It just like happened. I ended up being on drums or whatever the case may be. But I do know a couple guys ended up going to college though. But that was the main overall cause of the move right there for real.
Got my man Willie up in here. He said, "What's up?" He said, "Boxhead E time." What up, Malcolm?
Stamen Willie Beeman, what's good, bro?
That's funny. All right, so that's interesting to know because to be honest with you, I was under the impression and having no knowledge and never really having asked that CCB was sort of put together by Mark in the same way that the Hucklebucks was put together by Charlie. So this is new information to me. I probably totally just made that up in my own mind, but now I'm interested to hear the story. So okay, so you're on drums for CCB now, and then what were y'all were still playing like as you moved into CCB, were y'all still opening for Backyard and Northeast and stuff? This was
Nah, definitely not. So when with the CCB thing, we was doing a lot of like curl events, like Christmas parties, and the only real shows we had was like it was just a lot of curl events, like in the cafeteria and stuff like that. It wasn't really no go-go's or nothing like that. But and there was a guy, Mathis. He was like the music director at Curl or something. He was the manager, like after I was on drums, he was the manager, like
okay.
somewhere around there. Yeah, Mathis ended up being the manager somewhere around there, whatever the case may be. We ain't start really. Mark didn't like put the band together. The band was already together.
Right.
Delvon actually introduced Mark to us or something like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Mark didn't put the band together. Like the band was pretty much put together. The albums and all that, them CDs we dropped, like he enhanced like what we had going on, of course, but he didn't. The band wasn't. He didn't put the band.
Let me, and I realize that I've been doing it myself, so and I have to remind myself. So we got to assume that the people that are watching this, like some of the people that are watching it now, know us, but if people watch it later, we got to assume that they have zero idea who we're talking about. So let me back up a little bit. Chauncey is the keyboard player, guy I went to high school with, has been playing with CCB for a long time. So I realized I dropped his name without giving any context. Mark was the manager of the band, at least at one point in time. And from what I understood, which I have zero idea where I got this idea from, I thought that he put the band together, but he didn't. Obviously, you're telling us the story now that he didn't. So, okay, so you're at the point where this guy Mathis comes in, and he's starting to manage. And who is he, and why did he become the manager?
So Mathis, it was like Mathis was the music like director of Curl High School. You know, and that's where CTB was originally from. You know, so I don't know, like that could have been something when they was in school or something around that time. Like when I was the drum situation going on. I don't know how that actually came to play. It wasn't like a meeting or nothing like that. It was like Mathis, like, you know what I'm saying? So it was just one of those things. Like need a manager.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, one day somebody just pops up and the manager, and you don't know what happened. Got you. All right, so at that point you're just doing stuff in the school. So then when does Mark come into play, or was there something else that happened in between Mathis and Mark?
Yeah, so after Mathis, I got Will. They used to run the hash shops back in the day. Will was a pretty high promoter around that time or whatever. And Will remember us from Ultimate. Remember me, Pooh from Ultimate Youngest, a couple of my other musicians that play in the band. And Will just was like looking out for us as well too. You know, we had the situation with CCB. It was a pretty good situation. We sounded pretty good. He always just like, y'all sound pretty good to be so young. And was it the Suitland Dance Hall? Yeah, it was the Suitland Music and Dance. I forgot what it was across the street from it, whatever. But he was throwing like events over there. I helped him knock the walls down, all that good stuff. Me, Pooh, a couple other guys in the band. And we were just playing in there. Like every show he pretty much had, we was on every show. TCB in there. I don't care who was playing in there. He was just throwing us on the show. He was playing for free, all that good stuff. And it just came to a point. He wasn't managing us, but he was like making sure we was getting them shows. I pretty much picked up a lot of my promoting from him as well too. The real thorough promoting, the street promoting, pulling up in the hoods, hopping out with the flies, all that. And then when we run that Suitland Music and Dance time, Dale Vaughn was mixing us a little bit. A couple times he mixed us or whatever. And he introduced us to Mark. Yeah, we went up to Rim Shop or whatever.
Before we get there real quick, I do want to touch on one thing because you mentioned something about promotion. And this is one of the things that I kind of like a pet peeve of mine. And I want to drive the point home because it seems like there's a large contingent of go-go musicians who feel that it is not their job to promote their shows. They are supposed to be paid to show up and play music, and it's the sole responsibility of the promoter to promote the shows. Yet almost everybody that I've talked to who was in any band of any note has been like, nah, like when I was playing with Northeast Groovers, like I can't remember if it was Northeast or if it was solo because Northeast Groovers turned into solo. I don't remember exactly which time period it was, but I distinctly remember like 5 or 6 of us all got into Dig Dug's minivan and drove around and posters up on the telephone poles. This was even after like people were really doing posters on the telephone poles. It wasn't even like a thing anymore, but we were doing it and we would go out and pass out flyers. And I'm like, Northeast had already been the biggest band in DC.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
Promoting right there, yeah.
Right. So I just get really frustrated when like, oh, well, I'm not supposed to promote. Like that's the promoter's job. Like, no, it's not just a promoter's job. It's your job as well. So how much do you think that had to do with the success of your band, the fact that y'all were willing to promote yourself, because it sounds like you were willing to get out there and get your hands dirty.
Absolutely. I mean, from day one, with CCB, I mean, even from back to Ultimate Youngest leading up to CCB, I mean, that's how I was brought up, like promoting, like how would any fan or how would your cousin from your other side of the family that you don't talk to, you might run into them in their neighborhood. You know, I mean, you got to get out there. You have to put your music out there, your brand, your face out there, so people can start like messing with you. Like that was pretty cool back then too. Like Will had the Ultima. He used to ride around everywhere in the city, like wherever his show was at, we ride around like crushing flies, hopping out. And then some folks, they start like messing with you like that too. Like, oh, what's up, Shaw? They give you the dap, showing you love. So by the time they come to the club and see, it was like,
that's what this whole thing is based off of, is building relationships. Yep.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yep.
I just look at it like if you have a brand yourself, right, and you don't take it serious enough to like invest or jump out there, even if it's out there passing out a flyer, posting a flyer, like how could you expect someone else, even if it's a promoter, whatever the case may be, to keep that serious? Because all the thing promoters do in my eyes, I mean, I could be wrong, but this is what I think sometimes. They look and see like who got what going on and how they doing what they doing. Like, you know, a promoter don't bring people to a party. Like the artists, I feel as though bring the people to the party. Like we as the artists, we bring the people to the party. It's a two-way street, you know what I'm saying? You can't just bank on a promoter to fill the club up. Like, nah, you gotta do your part. You definitely have to do your part.
Right. It's a partnership, but it's also, I mean, this is the same thing in every level of the industry, whether you're talking about a show, whether you're talking about a record label, whether you're talking about whatever, you have to have something going on. Like there has to be a spark for somebody to pour some gasoline on it. Like you can't expect somebody else to come and chop the wood and put the wood together and strike the match for you. You got to do that part for yourself. And then once you get a little bit of a fire going, then somebody can come and dump some gasoline on it and help you push it. I mean, that's the same thing. I run a booking agency, right? So obviously we're not booking any shows right now, but I book artists all over the world, right? But it's not like I just come in and find some totally unknown artist that's never done anything and I can just press a magic button and make them succeed. Right. They got to have something going on for me to push. So you got to, it's a partnership of like getting the wheels turning together. You know what I'm saying? And then, I mean, of course, then you get to the question of what's fair for each partner to be paid in that situation. But at the same time, I see like a lot of smaller bands get paid way too much money. And then some of the bands at the top don't get paid enough money based upon how many people that they're drawing and what the ticket prices are and stuff like that. But we can get into more of that later. So you said somebody introduced y'all to Mark, but I missed who that was.
Yeah, so Dale Vaughn, the sound man Dale Vaughn.
Oh yeah,
he actually introduced us to Mark. Went to the print shop over there in Temple Hills that he had. It was just he just like me and the dude Snugs went up there. And then Mark is pretty much, he was a serious dude. You know, gave us a little layout what he had in mind, and you know, we just pretty much went with it. You know what I'm saying?
So was he approaching like Delvon linked y'all up like y'all should get with this guy as a manager, and he kind of came with a plan already, or what? And what was it about him? Like the same question as I asked about you. Like your man brought you in as a manager. Like what made y'all think you want to have Mark be the manager? Like what were his credentials?
I'm not gonna say we was like so off the giddy up like that with him. We did know he had some affiliations with I think Bad Intentions. They had some little stuff going on. It was more so the moves they was making at the time, and at that age bracket like we was, it was like, God, like they moving like the backyards a little bit, even though they didn't have a lot of shows and nothing like that. It just still always looked bigger than what it really was. It was like an illusion a little bit, you know. So and we knew about that situation with him and Bad Intentions. But we was more so like, let's give it a shot. Like we needed a manager. We needed at the time we were trying to gain more shows. We was only playing in that Temple Hills area at the time, so we wanted to kind of like branch off a little bit and just see what's out there for real, And this dude was put the gas down 1,000 miles per hour, like I mean 1,000 miles per hour. Like we was just studio to photo shoots, man, to the in and out of town. It was moving like pretty fast. But
Yeah,
it was
well,
a
let
good
me ask
situation.
you that because typically in go like what a manager does in go-go typically is not the same thing necessarily as what a manager does in the rest of the music industry.
Okay.
I mean, yes, to a certain extent. Like a manager that manage, so say you're managing an up-and-coming rapper or R&B artist or something like that. Now you may get them some shows, right? But technically, like I'm in California, I'm a licensed and bonded talent agent. I cannot manage an artist if I wanted to and book them at the same time because it's illegal. It's two separate jobs. But I can't. So I can't. If I'm managing, if I say I want to manage CCB today, I can't book you shows because I'm a bonded and licensed talent in California, and it's illegal. So, but in go-go, in DC, Maryland, and Virginia, it's not as developed of an entertainment area, so there's less restrictions. You could do both. You know what I'm saying? But a manager in go-go's real job is really that of a booking agent, which is and also like sort of a babysitter, unfortunately, of keeping everybody, and a lot of times a financier. And that's the other thing, because really, in reality, a manager is not required to pay for anything. Like, you know what I'm saying? But of course, that happens sometimes. But
and learning that now,
yeah. But it's also, but if a manager pays for something, it is totally within their, within their rights to get that money back before any other money is first. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think that over time, go-go has sort of, or the role of a manager in go-go has started to really morph away from what a manager in the regular music industry does. Like a manager in the regular music industry is there to advise and counsel and represent the artist from a business perspective. They're sort of like the CEO. The artist is the business, and the manager is the CEO of that business, and they're responsible for building a team from the record label, the publishing company, the booking agent, the publicist, the whatever, you know what I'm saying, whatever other digital marketing person, business manager, and that's another thing is the difference between a business manager and a manager. The business manager more handles the money and the taxes and all that stuff, where the manager handles, like I'm going to try to, like fight with the record label to make sure that we can get this release date out or release the single that you want to release first or stuff like that. So I guess my question is going into the situation with Mark, what was the band's expectation of what he should be doing as a manager, and what did he do? You know what I'm saying?
The expectations was just as far as like at the time was like shows. Like we needed like shows. That's all we was really worried. But we still was young and young man as well too. We not even like adults. Ain't even hit 21 yet. So we just like we need shows. Because at that time we was like we get shows. The more shows, the more people see us, the more famous we get. You know what I'm saying? The city. And, then the money would come. We wasn't even thinking about no money at all, no type of paper. We just wanted shows. So Mark kind of like he moved like I think like a label, I would say. I don't know. I mean, he just moved. He was very structured. Like, it was like, all right, out the gate, he was like, man, we needed some product to put out to the city. We ain't got no product, ain't nobody gonna know it. So we gotta put out some product. So studio, drop 5 tracks, and dude promises, man, once one of these songs have been on the radio, whatever. And if that jump wasn't on that radio, and we just like,
and is this
what it was.
5 tracks, were these the ones that you cut with Scotty Beatz, or that came later?
Nah, Scotty came later. I forgot the gentleman's name. He had a studio in College Park though, in the basement. I remember him saying like it was a white drum set. It's some up off the wall stuff. But Foots played on that set though. You know what I'm saying? So I forgot the dude's name, but that's where we recorded our first 5 like records right there.
And what records were those? What records were those, if you remember?
But they wasn't original. It was Man, I Miss My Dogs, Smiley Girl, Party Party, Hennessy and Bazooka Bottom. Bazooka Bottom is original. Hennessy is the word, like there's original on that as well too, with a few little other hooks or whatever. But for the most part, original songs. Yeah, Scotty came. We started getting into like albums and stuff like that. We was kind of pretty much jamming in the city, in and out of town a lot. He was like, we need to do an album. Like it was just time to like do an album. Like,
so let me hold on. Let me slow down for a second. So so you cut the first 5 songs, and you said that Mark promised that if you cut these songs, I'm gonna get one of them on the radio, and you said he delivered. Right?
Most definitely.
Okay. So which was the song that out of the ones you just named, which was the one that ended up on the radio?
Smiley Girl, the Can You Handle It? Can You Handle It? That was the first song on the radio. They actually played that song. That was the last song they played on the Go-Go hour that night. I never forget it in mom's room. Blown was like, they ain't even gonna play it. They was going off and everything. That thing came on. And from there, the whole camp was just like, this might be the truth. He got us on the radio, like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. He's afraid to rock the road from there.
Yeah, there's nothing quite like hearing your song for the first time on the radio. And I remember the same thing. I had actually there was multiple songs that were pitched to the radio for Mambo Sauce before anybody ever heard of us. And one of them was called, the first one was called Fairweather. Funny enough, I just ran into the girl that wrote the original song that I then replaced over there. I just heard from her the other night. But anyway, it was sort of the same thing where I had given it to Rico. I don't even remember how I linked up with Rico, but I had given it to him, and he kind of like curved me, you know what I'm saying? And I thought I was gonna, but then he told me he was gonna play it, and I can't remember if it was the same night or if it was like a couple nights, but he just wouldn't play it. And just like you said, like finally he ended up playing it, and I think it was like the last song that he played. Hour now, and because the anticipation was so great of like you waiting and being disappointed that it doesn't get played, that when it finally does get played, you're like, man, this is just like the best fucking feeling in the
world. That right there, man, like from there it was like, well, all of us, I just remember us calling each other on the phone, like, y'all heard that, and we just wanted more. Like that just installed something totally different in us, like every member in that band at that time. Like it was just like we need to become like some stars or something. We some stars. We on the radio. Wasn't a lot of bands like at that age bracket, even at that time, like it's being played on the radio as well. And then from there, we were just on the radio like all the time, like hit after hit. You know what I'm saying? Back to back.
So what came after that? I think the first thing that I remember hearing y'all on the radio was the Linkin Park joint. So what was the time period between Smiley Girl and then that was the one, right? The first one, and then
Smiley Girl, yeah. So that whole they actually played Bazooka Bottom after that as well. So that whole little 5-track, they mixed that in there a little bit, but mainly the Smiley Girl, the Bazooka Bottom, and the Party. They played that a lot. Then they started putting in the Hennessy. And Hennessy was on that 5-track mixtape. They played Hennessy. And then when we came up with the Linkin Park situation, that's when they was playing Hennessy and the Linkin Park on the radio a lot around that time as well too.
Because the
Hennessy and Linkin Park were going around the same time.
But were any of them in rotation? I feel like Linkin Park was, right? Because people, just for people that don't know, there's a difference between there's differences between the levels of radio play. So
absolutely.
you start at what they call a mix show, which means it's just a DJ and he can play it in his set if he feels like it, and he's making the decision, but it's pulled from a list of approved songs that he can play, but it's not getting played all the time. It may be played in this mix show. And then technically you have the go-go hour or half an hour, whatever it is now, but at the time it was an hour, and that was that's technically a go-go mix show. So the DJ can sort of play whatever they want, and it doesn't have to like come down from all high from the program director, assuming it's it's an approved record. But
Mhm.
that doesn't mean that if you get played in the go-go hour that you're going to get played at 3 o'clock in the afternoon
Oh,
also. You know what I
definitely,
mean?
definitely.
Yeah, and then there's levels to rotation too. You had light and medium and heavy rotation, and then power rotation. So I feel
Mhm.
like, if I'm not mistaken, the Lincoln Park one was at least in light or medium rotation, right? Because y'all were getting played
Yeah.
throughout the day with that one. It wasn't just in the go-go hour, right?
Right, absolutely. But also that Smiling Girl, they
Mhm.
played that after a while. I would say like after like a good 2 months or so, they was
Okay.
playing that Smiling Girl like crazy on that radio. They was
All
playing
right.
the whole
So it was in rotation as
yeah,
well, and all
they
day
was
part.
definitely playing that. We started like hearing it like midday after a while as well. But
Mhm.
Lincoln Park, I would say Lincoln Park kind of like broke the bar a little bit because it wasn't a breakdown. You know, it was that open pocket type of that open socket roll type of feel. It was more of a full feel with the singing over top of it. And once again, for us at that age bracket, that was pretty dope right there for us to come out, display that to the fans like that. But that was in rotation too, though. A lot of people love that song as well too. Shout out to
Yeah, I
my
didn't.
man bringing that to the
Yeah.
table.
What's that?
I said shout out to Sick if he watching for bringing that to the table. Definitely
Oh,
much love to Sick on the beat.
single.
Yeah. Sick definitely brought that to the table. Sick played keys with us too. Sick played lead and keys with us.
Okay, I didn't even know that he was the one that brought that. That's what's up. I'm surprised he's not on here. He usually watches, but nah, that's what's up. But yeah, no, I thought it was dope because I come from lots of different musical backgrounds. You know what I'm saying? I like lots of different
Mhm.
styles of music, and so I was like, I was a fan of Linkin Park, so I was like, yeah, that's tight. Like I never
Yeah,
would have thought a Gogo band would do that shit, and but that's a lesson I think that like when you sort of think outside the box and you don't just do
mhm.
what everybody else is doing, it makes
Definitely.
it easier to cut through because you're in your own lane. It's no competition. You know what I'm saying?
That
So
was one of the things too. My fault. I ain't mean to cut you off. My bad.
are you good? Go ahead.
I about to say that was one of the things like as well too. Like after a while, um, like guys like me, Pooh, we had I would say pretty much everybody at that time. Like we always try to think outside the box a little bit. I mean, another song as well too that Walk Alone. We presented that wasn't it didn't hit like Linkin Park, but that was another like outskirt type of song, a rock song we put.
That was a Green Day cover of a Johnny Cash
Mhm.
song, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
I
We
can
ran
tell you.
across that coming from the Neon one night, and it came on off the late night. And me, my bass player Smoke, that play was what do you play with Serious Company with Scooby and them now.
Mhm.
And Kim Scott, we was in the van, that white van. That joint came on, man, and we just started beating up, you know what I'm saying, doing our thing in there. Next practice, we putting that in rotation. So it was just one of them things, man. We just try to like think outside the box just a little bit. And if it work, it work. If it did,
Right,
like that.
right. For sure. Yeah, and well, that's the thing. You got to try different shit. And if it works, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But that's business, that's life, that's music and everything. Like, yeah, not every single thing you do is going to be a smash out of the park, but you just
Absolutely.
keep shooting your shot and keep putting points on the board, and eventually it's going to happen. And I feel like you guys had down like what what I think is a lot of the problem with Gogo is consistency and quantity and quality. Like it
Mhm.
was, it was recorded, fairly well at least. It was consistent. Y'all kept putting shit out, and you know
Mhm.
what I'm saying. It was quality. You know what I'm saying. So and it was a decent amount. So all of those things put together is what happens. But I think that people. A lot of people that I run across in GoGo think they're going to put out like 2 songs a year, and then when those 2 songs a year don't hit, they're like, oh, well, let's just go back to playing cover songs again. I mean, that's not how it works, you
No,
know?
you can't go like that. People forget about you quick like that too. There's so many bands out here, so many different musicians that's putting bands, the cover bands together. It's easy to get like somebody can forget about you like that. You want to put out as much music as possible, like as much music as possible, man. Like mainstream artists. I mean, I look at them now. I didn't look at them like this back then, but like now I kind of look at them like it's the stuff like we need to be doing. We need to be trying to move like them. Like they throwing out endless music, the videos popping, you know, like little stuff like that. You guys stay tapped into. Like, I just know for a fact you cannot throw 1 or 2 songs out a year and expect to survive out here in this go-go world. It's not gonna happen.
Well, not in any world. Yeah, I mean, definitely not in the national circuit. So I want to segue to that, but real quick before I do, because there's a couple people asking questions on Instagram. Can y'all do me a favor on Instagram? Please make sure you head over to youtube.com/Gogotalx, and you can see both sides of the conversation. There's a chat in there, and I'm going to try to get to your question in here, but it's just kind of hard to keep track of the questions on Instagram. So if you head over to YouTube and ask it again, but I got you, Calm Peach and Chief of the Crank. What's up, man? Appreciate it. Thanks for coming in. Professional Hitman, Legendary Twain, Sharika Davis, KD exclusive, or Kid exclusive, my bad, Media World TV. So the consistency thing and the versus the national artist. So at what point, if at any point, did y'all start feeling like, okay, we sort of like we've done the go-go thing, like, and we're still doing the go-go thing, but was there ever a point where you said that when y'all first got the radio play, y'all felt like stars, or we were about to be stars. Was there ever like in anyone's mind to be like, let's take this further than just DC, let's try to, and if so, what did y'all do to reach that goal, and how did it go?
Definitely. So we put out an album. It was a purple album. That's what was on that first. Classy was on that first. Classy Girl was the main single on that album.
Yeah.
And that's the Scotty Beat album right there. That's the first album that Scotty produced in Night Flight Studio. So
how did that come about? How did the Scotty Beatz? If anybody doesn't know, Scotty Beatz is he Rich Harris's brother or cousin? I can't remember.
Don't get me lying. I know it's
so he's
something like that.
Yeah, I should know, because I'm real tight with Easy Tommy, who's Rich Harrison's head of A&R, and I should have asked him before this. But so Scotty Beatz was a producer and an engineer, and he was either the brother or the cousin of Rich Harrison. Rich Harrison is the guy who produced Crazy in Love for Beyonce and Jay-Z and all the A. Marie stuff, the Go-Go Sound stuff, and Jennifer Lopez. So Scotty Beatz obviously had an affinity for Go-Go as well, and a more developed way of putting it together because of the national influence that he had as well. So how did that come about? Was that just a Mark thing? Like he just linked up with him, or do you know how?
Yeah, that's crazy you said that about Crazy in Love a little bit, because we actually got a track. We got a track and a cut like from years ago. Pretty much the same track, so to speak, but a go-go version of it. But anyways, I'm not quite sure how Scotty and Mark like linked up or anything like that. We were just told we gotta be at Night Flight this time. We're gonna be in here pretty much all night long for like the next like 2-3 weeks till we just get done with the album. Like, and that's just how we got introduced to Scotty like that.
How was that process different? Had you recorded like the other stuff? Was it live recording, or was it y'all went to a studio? Oh, you said you went to a studio in College
Yeah, we
Park.
definitely went to a studio.
Yeah,
it wasn't like Night Flight though. It was the guy's studio was in his house. It was a good studio though, professional studio though, but it wasn't like a Night Flight studio or anything like that. We haven't recorded anything after that. Those 5 tracks, our next set of recordings was in Night Flight.
So tell people about the difference between, because I think there's a big disconnect. Maybe y'all didn't have a lot of recording experience before that, but I think there's a big disconnect, because I've taken bands in real studios before. There's a big disconnect and misconception about what the recording process is like from, say, a Real or Charlie's studio or something like that, where you go in, you play the song a couple of times, they stop, they press stop, you go home, they a mix on it, and you're done and going. And I would imagine at Night Flight, I mean, I know, where I recorded the Right Way in Baltimore, where I did all the Marble Saw stuff, it's like 3 days for a song. You know what I'm saying? So I imagine it's the same at Night Flight.
Yeah, it's definitely a different ball game from when we recorded. And I would say, like a lot of people go to Rio, like salute to Rio as well too, though. But it's
Oh,
a
he's one of my
different world.
mentors. Yeah, no shade to Rio at all in any way,
Yeah,
shape, or form.
I'm just speaking on like for the guys, the newer guys in the game now. And it's like they go to Rio, so you could understand what we talk about as well too. But it's just a totally different world. It's almost impossible to get a full record done like at one time like that. Like, you know, we used to do like the back line, and then and the keyboards be in the front room, you know, then front line going there, do their thing, then you know, we gotta do a couple overdubs, you know, we gotta do some overdubs. Back line might take a break, something might don't sound right, like, you know, it's just a whole different world in that studio, that type of studio right there.
So when you're creating this album, the one, and I felt bad because I didn't remember the name of it, but you don't remember the name of it either, so I don't feel so bad now. But it was the one with the purple cover that had
Nah,
classic
that's
on.
what it was. Like, it wasn't really no name of it though. It
Oh,
was
that's
just the
what it's
purple album.
called. Oh, okay.
It was the album. The CCB is the purple album, yeah. Like Prince,
Okay,
the
all
purple.
right. So the purple. All right. So y'all was
Yeah,
going for the vibe. I can dig it. I can dig it. So all right. So the purple album. How long did it take y'all to record that? And what was the recording like? You mentioned that y'all had to stay in there all night for how long? Like how many weeks? Or but like I just want people to understand the difference between recording and recording a classic album that's going to stand the test of time. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the difference between how long it takes?
So like with a purple album, it didn't take us as long as Diversity, but the purple album, I say give or take like a month in total, about a month. I would say about a month in total, only because like that wasn't like everything on that purple album wasn't really all original, you know. And we already had a couple of those songs already pretty much like ready. We just had to go run them, so we was able to run through a lot of the songs like the Smiling Girl and My Dogs. We took those 5 and just put them on a purple, and then you know added a few more bangers on that as well. A few original bangers on that as well too. But I could be lying, but I say like a month to 2 months. It wasn't that long because we was literally going in there like if it was a Sunday, he'd give us the play. We got to be here at this time, and like within 2 weeks, we probably got to have like, or like about 2 weeks, man, about 5 to 10 songs need to be like 75%, like the 80% ready. Even if we fumble through when we get there, we add, but we gotta have about 5 to 10 jumps like ready, you know. So next 2 weeks, you know, it might be we cleaning them up or whatever the case may be. It takes some time. So I say 2 to 3 months, like for that album, right?
Gotcha. Well, I want to
Long
shout out.
hours, long hours, man. Long hours. That's the thing.
Yeah, I don't think people. I don't think a whole lot of people really understand the amount of work that it takes to get these things done. They think you just go in the studio, play the song a couple times, and you're done. Or people think you just sit in the studio and write and make shit up. And I know that happens, and that's what the rappers show you on their videos. But you know, it's really a fucking waste of time to spend, you know, $7,500 an hour, a waste of money. You know, to sit in the studio and write songs. You can write them in the rehearsal studio. That's cheap. And then when you get them down pat, then you go to the recording studio and record them. But I want to shout out Kid Exclusive. He said, "What's good, E?" And then Desktop Doctor says he's still waiting on his autograph. I don't know who that is. I'm not sure if he's talking to you or me. I would assume he's talking to you because you're more famous than I am. So
what's his name?
Desktop Doctor. Yeah, it's kind of hard.
Yeah. What's up, DR?
Okay. All right. I was about to say it's tough for me because when people talk on YouTube, they have names that are not their real names, and I don't know who they are.
Right.
But someone on Instagram, Calm Peach. I don't want to digress too far from what we were talking about, but just real quick, you get this in. She wants to know, how do you feel Gogo has changed? I don't know, changed from when to when, but I guess just from the beginning to now. What is your overall thoughts on that real quick? And then we'll get back into the story.
I wouldn't say Gogo have like overall change, because go-go is the same. It's still pocket sockets, bounce beat breakdowns, one-on-one beats. So the overall genre of go-go, the music, it haven't changed. Now, how go-go is like, I would say, moving sort of change a little bit. It's a lot of politics and politicians going on that right there. Just piggybacking off something you said early in the show about like how certain bands like younger bands or whatever the case may be feel as though they should be, but they getting more than what they should be getting, in the top bands are not really getting, what they should be getting paid. Like, that's when the politics and stuff come in with that. I feel as though like it's a little crazy right now. It don't feel like, well, all the time I would say it don't feel like is this love? Like, it's just, it don't feel like that, like back then. Like, you might run across a Walt Jam, you might run across a Will, certain promoters that might be like, all right, boom, like, I mess with you, young. Like, I'm gonna do some business with you. This fair business, you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes now it's just like, oh, I can only afford this, or I can afford that, so I'm gonna give you this based off my budget. It's like, like what happened to like me going hard promote this junk, help put numbers in the club. So, but that's the politics.
Right. Well,
But
the
it hasn't
one thing
changed.
I will
I wouldn't say
say,
the go-go haven't changed.
right. Well, one thing I will say is when I say just to clarify, not for you, but for anybody that's watching, when I say small band versus big band, I don't mean a band that has a popular name or a band that's been playing for a long time versus versus a band that is new or has a smaller name. What I mean is tickets. Like, because I work in the live music industry.
Okay.
Thankfully, it will come back sooner or later. And when I say tickets, I don't necessarily mean tickets, but I just mean how many people are paying to come see you. Like, your worth as a band is based upon how many people are coming to see you. There's a rough rule of thumb formula that you're worth roughly 60% of the gross, right? So if you sell 100 tickets at $10, your gross is $1,000, which means that you are worth roughly $600, right? But you got some of these bands, small bands, that are like, well, I want $1,000, I want $1,500, and you can't put 30 people in the club. Well, no, you don't get like you can't expect to make more. Whoever your social media person is working, because hey, check out our latest project, Mixtape Go-Go, available on SoundCloud, link in our bio. Other bands, please pay attention to that, because that's what you're supposed to do. I'm giving him an interview on YouTube right now, and whoever's running their Instagram, where I'm also at, is promoting their latest project on the Instagram. So please pay attention to that and make sure you're taking advantage of the platforms that you have when you have them. You know what I'm saying? So I don't mean that like a band, and I think people get that a little bit confused. Like, they think, well, I've been playing go-go for 30 years. I should, or 20 years or whatever, I should be making this much money. It's not about how long you've been playing. It's not about how well you play your instrument or how good you can rap or any of that. When it comes to live shows, the only thing that matters is how many tickets can you sell, and or how many people are going to pay to come see you. So what I'm saying is you got a band that can sell 30 tickets at $50, or I'm sorry, 30 tickets at $15 or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You're not worth $1,500, $1,000. You know what I'm saying? You're worth 60% of whatever, 30 people times $15 is. Was that $450? You're worth 60% of that. I could do the math, but you know what I'm saying? But if you are a band that can headline and sell out Echo Stage, you know what I'm saying? And the tickets are $50 and $60 and $100, you should not be walking out of there with $5,000. You should be walking out of there with $30,000, $40,000. You know what I'm saying? Based upon a mathematical formula that I don't think a lot of people in go-go, understand. And I didn't either until I started booking artists outside of go-go. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm not looking down on anybody for not knowing that. I'm just trying to share the information because I didn't know either. I found it out from somebody else. So anyway, that's all I was saying. But,
I'm glad you said it a little bit. Like, whenever I hear like good knowledgeable, like men or women that speak like that, like as far as like what you worth, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I ran across that a couple times, like coming back out, getting the band back revamped up and everything. Like you run across a lot of hired musicians, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, and it be guys that you be like, or women that you be like, why should I give you like 2, 3, 4, whatever you asking for? Like you can't even sell 2 tickets. Can you bring 2 people that'll pay $20 a piece? You know what I mean? They come see you or whatever.
So let me also differentiate between and this is part of the problem, because go-go musicians have decided that they want to act like, I always talk about the difference between a professional musician and an artist. That's two different things. The professional musician is an employee. The artist is the entrepreneur, right? So the artist is the business owner. Okay. So if there's zero problem, if somebody says I'm a drummer, you know what I'm saying, and I want you to pay me $250 to come play for your band, and you can, and you as the owner of your band, or the, you know, the manager, or the, you know, the artist, whatever, can you say yes or no? You know what I mean? But the problem comes in when that person says, and this happens a lot that I've seen, I want $250 a night, right? Whether it's 5 people in there or not. But then when I see it's 500 people, now I want more money because I see it's all. Yeah. No, if you want the $250, no matter how many people is in here, then you want it on a bad night, then you're going to take it on a good night too. You know what I'm saying? You don't get to play both ends of the thing. You know what I'm saying?
That's what you run across sometimes. I'm not quite sure you ran across that, or a couple people had. That's what you run across like sometimes, and that's what draws like some of these guys, like, you know, myself too, that's in those manager, you know, seats. That's like you try to like better your band so much. You try to like, you know, find what might fit for your camp or whatever the case may be, and like, you know, you almost drawn to like be like, okay, I got a tab on my head for like a stack just in my back line. You feel what I'm saying? And then what do you say to a promoter or whatever the case may be, man? Like, I need $500, I need $600, even though I know I'm only bringing the XYZ, but I need, you know, it's just one of those things, man. It's a crazy situation.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot, but that comes into building the worth as a band and understanding sort of, you know, how to run a business. And it's not, you know what I mean? And you know, I have a lot of sympathy for you, because most people that play instruments and bands don't understand any little sliver, small part of how difficult it is to actually run a band. They think all you do is just on the phone all day long, and you know what I'm saying? Whatever. Like, it's a lot of pressure. So I have a lot of sympathy for you, especially if you're the one kicking out of your I mean, not you, but just in general, anybody that's got to kick out of your pocket to make the shit happen. I mean, but you know, business is you spend this much to hopefully make more. You know what I'm saying? But that comes in. Definitely. Yeah, that comes in with the promoters too, because it's sort of a trickle effect. Like, so the promoters, you know, like a lot of bands feel like the promoter should pay them this much when they can't sell. Like, it's not in the promoter's best interest to pay you more than the amount of tickets that you can sell, because they're doing it to make money too. You know what I'm saying? So the job of a promoter is to rent a venue, pay for the marketing, pay for the band, or make a door deal or whatever with the band that costs them this much money, and to sell enough tickets that it's going to make them enough to cover all of that and make a little bit more. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Go-go promoters, not every single one of them, but a decent amount of them are taking a much larger percentage of the upside than promoters in other genres. Typically, promoters in other genres are at roughly, after they pay expenses, you remember I said the 64, the band's roughly worth 60%. Well, that means that there's 40% left over for the promoter to pay for the building, to pay for the marketing, to pay for the, you know, the staff, whatever they need to pay for, and still make a 15 to 20% of that should be for them. Now, that's, again, doesn't always work exactly that way, but a lot of times go-go promoters are, paying a band $5,000 and walking out the door with 30 grand. And that doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
so
Yeah.
there's problems on both sides. I'm not blaming it all on promoters because a lot
Yeah.
of bands. Go ahead.
No, and I was saying, no, I definitely agree with you, because I've thrown quite a few shows myself as well too. I've been on both sides of that. I was just like touching on that a little bit. Like it'd be crazy sometimes. Like, man, like this guy want this number right here. Like, I know I can't go to this promoter right here and tell this guy I need this amount right here because it just don't make mathematical sense on both sides. So but it's willing to deal, and you learn in the game as you go along, though. So
Yeah. Well, it's also, I mean, but you know, just based on whoever posted that on Instagram, y'all doing the right thing. Just promote yourself. It's about building a brand. You know what I'm saying? Like once you build a brand, then, and I know people throw that word around casually. Oh, I'm building a brand. I'm the boss. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. But it really is a real thing. Like if you're building a brand that people are willing to buy into and willing to come see you perform, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then
that's the main thing. Got to build that brand up, man. I mean, I'm learning that now. Me and my partner, Perry, talk about that a lot. Like we talk all day, every day, pretty much. Like text back and forth when we at work about little marketing strategy things we should be trying to jump into, whatever the case may be. Because it's not like, of course, we all getting older, like as well too, though. So like, what's the next step? Like with the music, what else can we bring to the table?
That's a good thing.
Huh?
I said you still look young, so that's a good thing.
Oh yeah. But that's one of the things. Like we try to like stay tuned and tapped in of what's going on out here. We look at, I'm gonna keep saying that we look at a lot of mainstream artists to see how those guys like moving, like, and we want to move like those guys. So we try and like position ourselves, to move like those guys like that. But that's what it is though. It's just you can't just say I'm building a brand. Like you got to really build a brand and make it believable to yourself. You got to believe in it. You and your team got to believe in it. Then and then push it out there to the world. The sky's the limit with that, man. Like it just the sky's the limit, man. Crazy little story too with the TikTok situation, with the fatty TikTok situation.
So for anybody that doesn't know, I want to make sure that people know what you're talking about. So this was Fatty, right? My Fatty.
Yeah,
which
my
one
Fatty,
is on the Purple album too, or this was off of Diversity?
That's on Fatty on Diversity. Fatty on Diversity. Classy is on the Purple album.
Gotcha. So this song came out in what, 2007, 2008? I remember it was around the same time as
those were back to back. So I would say give or take about 08 into 07, 2008, somewhere around there.
So the song is 12 years old, and somehow Niecy Nash from Reno 911, Clean House, and I forget what other show she was on. And the girl Lala, who I don't even know who she is. My wife knows. I don't know who she is, but they did a little funny video on TikTok to the song.
Yeah.
So a 12-year-old song got picked up this year and became sort of a viral smash on the newest sort of social media app. How did that happen?
Yeah. So just to like bring you in a little bit, like one of our strategies when the quarantine first hit, me and my partner, like, because we knew shows was going to get shut down, so we talked about how could we get like trending, like back, like trending like that, you know what I'm saying? Let's jump on it like ASAP. We knew everyone was going to jump on the live streams. We knew that was going to happen. Nothing wrong with that, but we also knew we needed a lot of music out to like bring the fans back into what we got going on. So we did a fairly, that was the first song out the gate when the quarantine hit. We wanted to take what was CCB hottest current song, that people might remember, the few that did remember, whatever the case may be, and just put a little twist on it to what's going on now. It's a lot of bounce beat going on right now and all that stuff. So we was like, we got to replenish our fan base as well too, though. Like you can't expect like the same 40, 50, 60, you know what I'm saying? We ain't 40 and 50, but you can't expect that to come out and like be in the front of a show or Coliseum with their hands in the air. So, we took the Fatty and just put a little twist on it, remix on it. Shout out to Bobby Robert Moss. He did write and produce that song.
Bobby,
Um,
boy, Bobby. Mhm.
yeah, he definitely put pen to pad with that. I salute that guy right there for sure. And then Chop, current drummer now, Chop on the beat. We
Yep.
brought the idea to him, and he just took it and just done his thing to it. And we put a couple dollars behind it, me and my partner. We was like, we're gonna do a challenge. We're gonna do a fatty challenge. And the this might be a little crazy, but the thing was with the trending thing, we knew somewhere in the back of our mind, if we get that fatty remix like trending to what's going on now, somebody gonna pick up by accident possibly, or somebody gonna tap back into that old one, and it's gonna get everything gonna start all over again a little bit. So just so happened, like we did the challenge. I got some little girls doing their thing or whatever. Sent out a couple cash apps, to spice things up a little bit. And it wasn't no little money. It was some we spent a couple dollars doing that or whatever. And
Well,
then we
that's
did
important because I think people, I don't think people really understand in Gogo that you do have to spend money on marketing to make
definitely,
shit work. Like, you think it's
definitely,
just supposed to make a song and magically it's just supposed to blow up with no effort and no money behind it. So it's good to
yeah,
hear that.
definitely. Like, and it wasn't. I'm not gonna say we spent like thousands and thousands of dollars, but we probably spent just on that, like I would say about a good 5,000.
Okay.
With the ads, like we was doing like weekly ads and not just no little boy ads. We trying to reach a lot of people. Uh, and with the challenges, like I dropped the girls' cash app. We was really sending that money around. Like we wanted them to repost it on theirs, like tag friends, whatever. And they got trending. And then the lady, I forgot her name, Dash or whatever. She ended up doing her thing. It started
Man,
trending
yeah.
around a little bit. But with that, we was looking at it like, dang, like that's all right. We kind of like slide back in the mix, with that. So just wanted to bring out more music, more music. The Fatty was still working, and then we dropped that way, or Uzi Vert remix or whatever.
Mhm.
But we was also this is the whole game plan. Let's try to stay as commercial as possible. Some people probably won't understand that, but CCB a commercial band. Like we came out somewhat a commercial band, so this is not
Right.
nothing known. We just playing more live shows now. We got a little more drive and thump with our sound now than we did back then. But that was another thing we wanted to keep that. We'll bring back that commercial, sound. Uh, I would say, yeah, I call it the industry sound a lot. I could be wrong, whatever the case be, but just that clean cut sound that I feel as though the industry will possibly pick up on because they can understand it. Even if it's cussing or hoopla in it, they can understand it.
Right.
So we dropped the Uzi and we did like the views went crazy off that Uzi. We actually got a crazy response off that, and it just
This was on TikTok also, or this was on another platform that you dropped it?
repeat that.
Where were the views going crazy for the Uzi joint? This was on TikTok too, or this was somewhere else?
Nah, the Uzi didn't do only song that did some numbers was on TikTok was Fatty. But the
Okay,
Uzi was just like on social media,
I
like
got you.
I sit back and like do little stuff like because it means a lot to me and my partner. Like how many views and how many minutes or seconds are people viewing it on this song right here? And now no hate to no band, but compared to this band song, and we look at some of the top bands out here and we try to like just compare ourselves to that, because these are the bands that people paying top dollar to go see, and hear. So I'm like, what are they doing that we ain't doing? So let's just look at that. And they were just running them up. I mean, Apple Music is pretty decent, but it's just mainly like on like the YouTube is pretty solid. But our social media, our IG, that's where the majority of the views are. On the songs how we drop them and when we drop them, the content behind them, I would say, but I mean, they were just back to back. We dropped a mixtape in 3 months, 10 songs. And I would say every song on it pretty much had some solid views and stuff on it, which was pretty good. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But yeah.
But so just because one of the things I was going to ask you is what is the goal of CCB now, and what in the next 5 years or so, what is your, because it sounds like you're trying to build the brand on social in order to build the real fan base so that when shows come back, y'all
Yeah.
can be bigger shows. Is that right?
Absolutely. I mean, I feel as though like you have to like handle home. Like if you don't handle like where you from, if you an artist and we consider ourselves like artists, we have CCB is artist band. Like you don't take it home, like in go-go, I feel like you're not really, I'm not gonna say doing nothing right. I just feel like you gotta take it home. You just gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta bang out some of these clubs. You gotta crushing some of these neighborhood events. You just have to do that. But on the flip side, I feel like I've seen like some of the highest levels like in the DMV area with it. You know what I mean? With CCB. I think it's just time to like take that next step, like get on the biggest stages, or even if like the stages doesn't present itself right now or the next 2-3 months because of the pandemic and what's going on, like we're gonna tear social media up because everybody is on social media, like
Yeah.
everybody's doing this, like so it's
Yeah.
easy to pull people in and like really take it serious and make the quality that we're putting out, like we'll put the quality behind everything we're doing, like top tier, like just try like make it top tier. So the viewers who viewing in on social media, they're like, oh, I bet like this look like, that Beyonce banner, this look like that such and such band, like, it's just stepping it up a couple notches really, and just trying like, kick that door down, man. Just trying to kick that door down.
Gotcha. So is the if I understand correctly, so you're trying to use the social media right now to build up home, and then once you feel like you built home back up again to where you want it to be, then push outside. Is that the strategy?
Yeah. I feel like this home, like you have to do that, but the fans gonna pull in and gravitate towards whatever's going on if they like it. If it's somebody in Atlanta, if it's somebody in the UK, if they hear and it's popping, it's just popping to them. But I mean, we gotta bang out home. I'm not gonna say if someone we plug in with, like be like, hey, we gotta move out LA or we gotta move out wherever down south. Or if it makes sense and we gotta go touch some stages down there for 30 days, 45, 60 days, we're gonna go do what we gotta do, to make sure our brand
The
is.
only reason I'm bringing that up, and because like I've heard other people say something similar, like, okay, well, if somebody gives us an opportunity that makes sense, we'll go. But the reality is, from someone who books touring bands all over the world,
Mhm.
nobody's just going to be like, let me give you an opportunity that's going to pay you what it's worth for you to come play.
But
Even
see,
if
what I mean by makes sense though,
Mhm.
and I don't mean all the time like money, because
Money, gotcha.
I'm a businessman as well too though. Like when you're
Right.
trying to get somewhere, it's a grind. Like you gotta crawl before you walk. So I can't just expect a guy who plugged in somewhere be like, all right, come on, I got $5,000 for you. I'm gonna fly you out here and do this, that, and that. Don't nobody out there where he at know who the hell CCB is. You feel what I'm saying? So
Yep.
that's not even on the table with us. It's more so like, all right, if something presents itself and wherever it might present itself at, like, and they talking like, hey, I need you guys to come out here. Can you get your band out here to cut a couple records? And they might say something as simple as like, we might get only thing I could take care of maybe it's like an Airbnb for you guys. You guys got to take it. I'm all right with that. That makes sense to me because you give me the opportunity. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
To take that next step on a level where as though I'm not getting back home in the DMV. Especially if I do my homework going to see, oh, this guy might be a legit guy. It could be a bluff, but I'm a risk taker. Me and my can't be risk takers. So we're gonna see what's going on with it.
Yeah, I mean calculated risks is business. You know what I'm saying? And I think that GoGo has got so comfortable in having, the unique thing that we have in the DMV that does not exist anywhere else. There is nowhere else in the world where one band can play 3 times a week in the same place for concert ticket prices, and people will still come out and see the band play. It does not happen anywhere else in the world. Like literally a band has to spend, you can only come back to the same city. If you're touring, I don't put my bands in the same city more than 4 times a year. The same city 4 times a year, not a week.
That's something I always wanted to know too, though. That's crazy you say that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's how the rest of the world works. DC and DMV and go-go culture is a total anomaly. So
Mm.
and part of the reason that I started this show, and I say this every single show, and then I probably said part of the reason I started this show, and there's been like 18 different things that I say, but there is because we're such an insular community, because we are able to make a fairly decent amount of money in our own city without having to step outside of it. We don't really take the time to learn how things work outside of our city. And unfortunately, well, one of the things that I learned throughout this series was two things, honestly. One is that the way EU and the way Junkyard had two big hit records, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because typically in the record business, somebody doesn't just walk up to you and say, I like you, let me pay some money to have you come record in my studio and we're going to make a hit song. That's generally, right. That's like literally like lightning striking you, but that's exactly what happened to EU. And that's exactly what happened to Junkyard. And I learned that from interviewing Charles Stevenson, who was the manager of EU at the time. And basically what he said was EU was popping in DC. The 930 Club hired them to come play Spike Lee's birthday party. Spike Lee didn't hire them. The 930 Club hired them because they were popping in DC. And Spike Lee saw them play. And, as most people who see go-go bands play for the first time was like, that's the most amazing shit I've ever seen. I have this movie that's about to come out. Let me do something with it. Junkyard was playing on the street corner, and some guy kept coming to see them every week playing on the street corner. And one week he brought Rick Rubin from Def Jam, and Rick Rubin was like, this is the most amazing shit I've ever seen. I want to take you and record. And that's how the Word and Sardines came about. But that is literally like lightning striking twice. But for some reason, that thought process of that somebody is supposed to come down and come to DC and find me and press this magic success button to make it successful has permeated throughout the culture through all of these years to make everybody think that all I got to do is crank and somebody's going to find me and make me successful, which is the exact opposite of how every other artist in every other genre has done it. You know what I'm saying? It's more along the lines of what you just said you guys were just doing with Fatty, which is we had a record that we knew was getting reaction already. Now, typically it wouldn't have been a 12-year gap, but regardless, take something that you see is getting some reaction and you say, we're going to put some money behind this and we're going to put some marketing effort behind this and a strategy behind it. And we're going to use it to try to step up to the next ladder. You know what I'm saying? So I commend you guys for doing that. But that's, again, that's one of the reasons that I started this show is because there's just a lot of misinformation about how things work outside of the DMV and the go-go culture. And people think that they can take like you can't take the strategy that it takes to be a popular band in DC and think that strategy is going to get you beyond being a popular band in DC, because the two are antithetical to each other. You know what I'm saying? But I will say, and Perry just commented on Instagram and said that your latest mixtape has beats with he said something else before that. Hold on one second. He said you guys are looking to feature hip hop rap artists on your next project, refusing go-go with hip hop, creating a new subgenre of go-go music that will put us on these concert tours. And then he said, our latest mixtape has beats with Baton Rouge influence, dancehall influence, Atlanta South style influence, and East Coast influence, just trying to introduce our sound to different markets. So that's dope. So I really want to applaud you guys for taking a sort of outside of the box thinking. The only thing I will say, and it sounds like you're doing it right, but taking influences from different places. But the only time when you run into a problem is when you say, all right, well, we got a dancehall song, we got a trap song, we got an R&B song, we got a hip hop song. And that's where I think we run into a lot of trouble too, because we're used to playing for the audience at a show. And we take what we do in a show where we start slow and we ramp up to the first set, and then we start the second set off slow again, and then we ramp up and then we turn up by the end of the set. And that's because that is made to make people warm up into dancing, which is the measure of success from a live show. If people are dancing, right? But that's a different process than making records. You know what I'm saying? So what happens is go-go bands, because we're so used to starting with an R&B song and then have a hip hop song in the middle and then a trap bounce whatever song at the end, we take that same mentality into the studio, not realizing that if I'm from Ohio and I've never been to a go-go before, if I hear a CCB song that's a slow ballad singing song, and then the next song I hear is Fight Anthem, I have zero idea that this is the same band. It sounds totally, you know what I'm saying? So that would be the only thing. I mean, not that you asked for my advice, but that would be the only thing I would say to that is there's absolutely nothing wrong. I mean, that's what I was trying to do with Mambo Sauce, was take different elements from different styles of music. And to be honest with you, our album was way more all over the place than I wanted it to be. But I couldn't, you know, like I'm only one person, as you know, being a manager, like, yeah, you have a vision, but you still gotta cooperate with the people that are involved. You know what I'm saying? So if it was up to me, there would have been 0 ballads on that album. There would have been 0, you know, like, well, I guess most of it had a rock feel. That wasn't really my agenda at the beginning. But you know, it all would have sounded like one band. Like if you listen to your favorite artists in other genres of music, they may dibble and dabble a little bit in a different genre, but they don't jump from one genre to another from on the same record in the same project. They just take elements from different things and put it into that. So based on what Perry said, it sounds like that's what y'all are doing. But yeah, if I can give some unsolicited advice, just make sure you're mixing those sounds into one sound that sounds like CCB. I just see that mistake made so many times from the smallest bands to the biggest bands. Is if I don't know go-go and I don't already know your band, if I hear 2 songs on the same album, they sound like a totally different artist. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that goes against what we were talking about earlier, which is building a brand, because the brand is based in your sound, and you have to create that signature sound that defines your brand, that permeates out into how do your pictures look? How do your videos look? What kind of merch are you selling? You know what I'm saying? All of that. So I don't say all that to lecture, because y'all seem to have, you know, that figured out more than most of the bands on the scene. But I would just say, like, in your quest to do, you know, to go beyond, you know what I'm saying? I would just really double down on that signature sound. You know what I'm saying?
So that's good knowledge, man. That's definitely good knowledge for sure.
Well, I want to dig into a little bit also, how did the Netflix thing come about? Because y'all had a pretty fucking big year, from the TikTok shit to, you know, Megan Thee Stallion's dancing to your definitely too, right? It was the same record, right? Did that come from the same campaign?
I'm not sure how it was just like you just start seeing it, like, you know, people would just, we stumble across it, the Megan Thee Stallion situation, and it's got like trending around as well too. One small thing, I'm gonna rewind a little bit. Last year, right? We played on some spot on U Street. Some guys threw one hell of an event. I'm not gonna lie, packed out event. Some Ethiopians or something like that. You know, they got Thunderman performed on there, and we remixed the Shea Butter, Ariana Lennox. I stay pronouncing her name wrong. If you watching, my apologies, baby girl. I'm sorry about that. But and that song, the remix of that, it was just a live cut. That went viral as well too. There's some crazy numbers on like
she
social media.
I remember seeing her post.
Yeah, and that was up there for like a couple months, man. And we look at small things like the blue checks, who looking on who comment with the blue checks under her comments. You know, we want to see what they talk about. You know what I'm saying? Like, how could we do something different? How could we step it up from here? You know, but with that, I think maybe a few other set of potential fans, maybe like ran across or some way. So I don't know. You know, I'm just thinking, I'm assuming certain things, but it started trending around a little bit. And we was like, we trending. I'm not gonna say we hot or nothing like that, but we're trending. We in people's mouths and people going on Googling or probably pulling up on YouTube or whatever the case may be. Who is this band CCB or what's up with CCB? So it started like
Ari Lennox, if it back in you know, so I left Mambo Sauce in 2009, right? And then I managed like a neo soul kid, and then I managed another R&B artist, and then I started promoting shows in Annapolis, right, which is where I'm from. And so I brought Black Alley down to play, and it was my first time. I think it was my first time seeing him play. And I was like, oh hell no, y'all not gonna do Mambo Sauce better than I did Mambo. Like they were so lit. It was like the best show. Yeah. And I was like, man, y'all, that shit is crazy. Like the shit was nuts. So I was like, all right, well, fuck this. I'm not gonna get one up by my man Omar. You know what I'm saying? So I started putting together a band called Lipstick and Congas, right? And I didn't have the singer.
You said lipstick and condoms?
Lipstick and congas. Yep, congas.
I like said lipstick and condoms. I said, oh, wait,
no. Congas, like conga, like we call them. They're really called congas. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the original band I had was Wes, you know, on the drums that plays for Sirius Company now. Daniel that played for bass for Wale. This kid Nate on keys, and the guy Anthony that was playing guitar for Black Alley for a while, the one with the long red hair, and because he was playing for the artist that I was managing before. So I put this band together, but I couldn't find a singer. Right? I knew I wanted one female singer, and I did a contest, and so I did a contest on a website where I had girls sending their video of them singing, and then people voted on it, and then we were going to do a live audition for it. So guess who the girl was that got the most votes in that contest? Ari Lennox.
That
was before she started calling herself Ari Lennox. Her real name was Courtney Salter, and and so she was the top voted person to be the singer for Lipstick and Congas. But then when we did a live audit, it got down to the 3 finalists, right? And I did like live auditions where they would have to play with the band, and it was a show. We did it at Adams Morgan, and it was like American Idol style judges. It was supposed to be, I think, me, Big G, and Lil Mo, but G ended up not being able to make it. So me, Lil Mo, and Tabby Benet were the judges, right? And so she ended up flaking out on the last day. On the day of the auditions, she couldn't come because something, I forgot what happened, but she couldn't come. So it's just crazy. Funny that, you know, she's definitely a go-go fan because she was trying to be in my go-go band.
That's crazy, man. The comments, she dropped a couple comments, and I was like, that's what's up, man. That's definitely what's up right there, man.
Yeah, she's a real one, for real. She's definitely an artist, you know, like, if you know what I mean. She's an artist.
I gotta get to work with her for sure, man. She showed some genuine love like a couple times on our band page, and we was a little surprised. We know she from here and everything, but sometimes when artists like get that, you know, to that level, it's like but yeah, it was pretty cool. But as far as the movie, this pretty much answering that right there. As far as the movie, I got like a random call one day from some guy, a couple random calls from some guy about like using some of the music for the movie or whatever. And I was like, all right, whatever. You know, I'm thinking it's just some BS for real. Then the guy was kind of like on me about it, whatever. So we put something together, and I said, hey, just go ahead. Once again, I'm trying to burp, it ain't coming up. Once again, it was never about the money, like about that. I know some people like us, quite a few people asked me on the low, like, I know y'all got like a lot of money for that. Like, yeah, you know, but it ain't about that for real. Like, I'm looking at that like Netflix, like, even if it's a low budget move, like that's a good move for my brand. Like, I don't care how many people look at that, you know, they're gonna still hit CCB within that movie. So it was more so a branding move for us. Like we in a movie on Netflix. We can always say we touch Netflix or something like that, you know, on a smaller scale, whatever. It was just a branding move, so to speak, for us with that. And they helped out our brand a lot too.
I wish more people would think like that, because it's like I say this a lot, that a lot of people in go-go miss out on $1 million trying to chase $150. Like, you're so pressed to get your little show money, you know what I'm saying, that you're and you're missing out on potentially bigger opportunities because somebody's not going to pay you $150 to do the show. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, that again, going back to the go-go thing, or you know, that this doesn't happen in other cities. Like, a lot of the reason why rappers from other cities make it more easily than go-go bands do is because they can't go play 3 times a week. You know, even rappers in DC, like, that was one of the questions I was going to ask you. What do you think Shy Glizzy, Rico Nasty, Zanman, Logic, Wale, what do you think they have all figured out that go-go bands haven't figured out?
I don't even necessarily think it's something they figured out. I think it's just more so the game. Like, it's two different genres, like a music. Like, go-go on the live side is totally different from an artist that's just rapping or singing over top of tracks. But DMV is based around like go-go, you know, but I can't sit here and say they figured out something different. I'm not gonna say that. It's just that, hey, I'm a rapper or I'm a R&B singer, whatever the case may be. This is what I do. You know, that's what it is, and that's what it is. Go-go, I mean, I still think to this day, like, how come some of the top producers, like, you know, you don't come to the city or try to, like, I know they busy with all that and all that good stuff, but like, do they even like consider us go-go musicians or us go-go bands? Like, if a go-go band can cut a real live record, a real original record, like, might sound wild, but like, get that, see what's up with that, you know, see what that go-go band that produced that album or that real original record, like, can do for your label. Like, it could possibly like spark something else for your label. That's a whole different genre of music. That's a whole different swag that's being presented to Rockefellers or to whatever these labels are. Like, you know what I'm saying? So they not necessarily like, they didn't figure nothing out. That's just what they do. Their genre of music. It's our genre of music, but it's coming, especially with the CeeLo situation. I saw that and I was sitting back like, wow, like, that's what's up. You know, that's what's up right there. It took a while, long time, man, but that's what's up. You know, I would like to see what would happen after that. You know, touching off the JY situation and the EU situation, like back then, like coming up in the go-go game, I always thought like, dang, when I saw that EU and them was in school days, when I first saw that, like, I was like, what the hell? Like, they really in a movie out here. So it's possible. Like, it's possible, but like, kind of like disappeared a little bit. I was hoping to see a lot more of that, you know, a lot more of that, like, in these big movies. Like, I want to hear some go-go soundtracks, you know what I'm saying? I want to hear that, you know, but it's coming though. I definitely think it's coming, you know. It's just time and branding.
Well, so James Anthony, my man, said they, in response to what did the rappers figure out, he said they figured out one signature over talent versus 12 signatures with multiple chiefs. I think I know what he's trying to say. Basically, that like, you have one artist that you have to have on the same page versus a 12-piece band where everybody's trying to be the boss, which is what literally happens in go-go.
Yeah, but no, somewhat. So what about like these? What about like Bruno Mars? That whole situation, like, that's a band. That's a legit band. Like, what about some of these? Like,
it's Bruno Mars with a hired band.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah, it is. It definitely is. I mean, I understand what he's saying, though. I definitely understand, but it go back to, like, you know, the genres of music. Like, give go-go that opportunity. But I do understand, like, it's harder to pay. But it all go back down to business. At the end of the day, it's harder to pay a 4, 5, 6 man front line with 5, 6 musicians behind that front line. You know what I'm saying? Like, one singer or one rapper in a hired band. I totally get that. I understand that.
Yeah.
You know what
Well,
I'm saying?
it's not even just about paying. It's about the vision. It's like even for me, like so, Mambo Sauce was at the time was the smallest go-go band in history of 7 people. Right. There may be some smaller now, but at the time it was, and that was at the time that was my on purpose because it's incredibly. I came from playing with Northeast Groovers and solo and filling in and the wet band and filling in with backyard and I was just like, it is really fucking hard to get all of these people to move in the same direction at the same time.
It is.
Everybody has their own idea of what you should be doing at any given time. And you can't make this. So, for example, you just brought up the CeeLo thing. So I have a friend who was like, yeah, well, what did anybody do to capitalize off the CeeLo thing? Now, granted, I don't know exactly what you could have done, but the reality of the situation is, even if you decided that you wanted to do something to capitalize off the CeeLo thing, you got to convince 11 other people. And I'm not saying you as in you, I'm just saying as a go-go band in general. You got to convince 11 other people, yo, we should go to the studio to record something, or we should do a video, or we should, you know what I'm saying, whatever. And that's a lot of people to mobilize, even if you're not even taking money out of the equation. Like, even if you're like, yo, let's all meet at the fucking parking lot at 7:00 and shoot a video being like, thank you, CeeLo, we appreciate y'all, you for showing our music some love and post it on our Instagram. How realistic do you think it is that everybody's going to actually show up at 7:00 to do that when you got 12 people in the band? You see what I'm saying? So I'm just saying that, like, to James's point, this is something that I sort of been on, which is, and I've been on it for a minute, but I sort of fall in and out of love with go-go every couple of years. And what I'm saying? Like, oh, I really love it. And then I'm like, yeah, but like every time I try to do something, I get punched in the face, figuratively, not literally. And I could do something else that is, that doesn't cause me as much stress and makes me more money. And then I'm like, but it's my culture. It's what I came up in. I want to help. And so, so I jump back in it again. So it's in and out and in and out. But the very first artist that I managed right after Mambo Sauce was a solo artist. And my purpose behind signing him as a management client was to develop him he was a young kid. He was 19 years old, to develop him as a solo artist that had a hired band behind him. And if you really look at it, who invented go-go?
You said who invented go-go?
Yeah, who invented go-go?
I don't know who invented go-go.
Well, there's people that say arguably, but most people say Chuck Brown, right?
Yeah. I would say Chuck Brown invented, yeah.
It was Chuck Brown and the Soul Searchers.
Yeah.
Chuck Brown was the artist. The Soul Searchers was the hired band. You know what I'm saying? And then later on, it just became Chuck Brown. And when Chuck Brown performed, he had a band behind it. You know what I mean? So this is not like a brand new concept, but for some reason between, the 80s and now, we feel like if you play go-go, it's got to be a 12-person band. And I really don't think. Yeah, so Mike said like Mint Condition or the Gap Band. Yeah, so if you look at bands like Mint Condition or the Gap Band, the band is the artist. You know what I'm saying? Like the entire band is the artist. Like CCB is the artist, and the whole band is the artist. But if you really look at it, like there is no more Gap Band, there is no more Mint Condition. Stokely went solo, and I'm guessing, Raphael Sadiq went solo from fucking Tony for exactly this reason. You know what I'm saying? So I will ask you the same question that I ask almost everybody that's come on the show. Do you think you need a band to be go-go? And I don't mean performing live, but I mean in the way that we're just discussing. Like, can you have an artist that maybe records with a band and performs with a band, but it's really the artist and the band is hired. Do you think that's possible, or does that negate? Does that make it not?
I think it's possible. And I'm gonna take my band for instance because like how I shape my band right now, I have 2 female singers. I'm just the music director. I can care less about all that fame. Like I ain't tripping off all that. It's just whatever. But and I have a rap, you know. So and this is things that we talk about, me and my partner as well too. So and like when I look at that like if I ever get like a heavy hitter, like an industry type of guy, present a situation to me like, hey, I want to try this or that, you know what I'm saying? But I can't use your whole band, but I want to use the whole band. All right, cool. I strip my band down. You don't need to see me on stage. You don't need to see my rap on stage. Use my girl with the band behind them, so you don't have to worry about hiring other outside musicians if you want to still do the go-go thing somewhat, but try to like step into that next level.
So let me ask you a question. Why would you? Why? And I'm not trying to like don't stab me, Chauncey, or anybody else in the band. I'm not trying to break up CCB or anything. I'm just using this as you know, informative for anybody else who's thinking about trying to have a higher level of success than just local, you know, playing in local clubs. Why do you need to wait for somebody to present to you a situation where that's the case, as opposed to putting together that situation and pushing it forward? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Who to say we not doing that right now though? Like on the low, you know what I'm saying?
I just uncovered the fact that you're firing everybody in the band. My bad, people.
Nah, I would never I would never do that.
Nah,
I mean, I feel like the camp I got now.
I'm totally cool with firing Chauncey. Just fire him. He should be.
Nah, that's my dog. Like Chauncey, totally, like certain guys like around me that been grinding with me, like I will never get rid of. I will never, like, we could cuss each other out, have it out. Chauncey's one of them, you know what I'm saying? And Zoe is one of them as well too. To my rapper Zoe, those 2 guys right there, like I don't care what go down, like they ain't going away. They not going away. I don't care who come in and out my band. Those 2 guys are not going to be the most loyal guys to me this whole stretch. So I gotta make sure those guys are always well taken care of as well too. 100%. But I mean, that's something we moving towards. Yeah, that's definitely something we moving towards though. You know, because we've seen like what the 4, 5, 6 front line can do, with the 8-piece back line can do. You know, we seen what that money breakdown look like as well too. You know, so it's like even when I slim my band down to have a 4-piece front line for a minute, or just 1 keyboard player, like, you know, bass, lead, drums, and percussion. I was like, all right, money look a little better just on the business side. Money look a little better. It's only an extra 152, whatever the case may be, but it looks a little better with the smaller band. So studio, I mean, with this, I ain't gonna say too much, but with this next album we about to drop, all original, the city gonna see, the world gonna see some special things. I'm gonna say that they're gonna see some special things. I think they'll be a little surprised about what we're gonna bring to the table from the go-go side. Not nothing no one ever seen before from a go-go band or artist, whatever the case may be, but I think they'll love what we're gonna bring to the table from the go-go side. You'll see a lot more of that. We should talk about, so I don't want to do too much with that though. But
well, your partner Perry said, no, each song was created to catch the listener's ear within the first 20 seconds. By the time you're 2 minutes into the song, you're ready to play it back on repeat. So that's an important thing that he said right there. To be honest with you, I would try to catch the ear within 5 seconds versus 20, but 20 seconds is way quicker than most go-go bands even think about. There's always like drum chop, barbecue, drum roll into the song, and you know what I'm saying, like 4 minutes of, you know, whatever. So, but the other thing is, you know, like I don't understand
from back in the day, Malachi. Not to cut you off, just touching on that real quick, like that's something Mark, I would say Scotty installed that like in us. Like he was off the Mark and Scotty, but mainly Scotty because he was the producer. Yeah, Mark just enforced it day in, day out. Like, don't bring no song to the table that's more than 4 minutes max on the radio. Not gonna play it. 3:30 to 4 minutes, they won't play it. So we started like writing and creating songs where as though that first 5 to 20 seconds, we gotta be busy. Like if it's a lot of a singing based song, y'all need to be singing something that's gonna catch them early, so they could be like, okay, we're gonna keep listening to it, because you'll lose like a fan attention like quick within like 20 to 30 seconds. Like if it's not interesting to them at all. I mean, I've been in that, and that's
well, and now it's because I had the same thing. What I produced Marble Sauce record, and that's the same thing. So a couple of songs inched a little bit over the 4 minute. I think Welcome to DC is like 4 minutes and 12 seconds. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that was definitely it. But even now the songs are like 2 minutes, 2 minutes and 30 seconds, 3 minutes at the most. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say now, even look at maybe even shortening that. You know what I'm saying? It's not just for y'all, but for anybody that's watching. You know what I'm saying? That's really trying to do something.
You sound like my man, bro. You sound like my partner. We try to do like two versions. I'm not gonna say versions, but yeah, we have a radio version, of course, a radio friendly version, whereas though like now we getting hip to that minute to 2 minutes gotta be action. They gotta be uncut. But we also have the whole track, whereas though it's 3.5 to 4 minutes. So when we put it out there, like to on all the platforms, the Apple Music and the Spotify's and Spinrillas and all that stuff like that, whatever the case may be, they'll get the whole song. They might get a hook or two or drop off they didn't hear, in the radio version or whatever the case may be. But it's trying to stay as sharp as possible on our toes, man, and just make sure we present the music, on the platforms the right way for sure.
Well, I love it. I love it. So let me turn the lights on real quick. The sun's starting to go down.
I need to go over there, man.
Yeah, my bad. So tell everybody what to expect, what's coming up. Y'all got a mixtape coming up. When does it come out? How can they hear it? Where can they go? Like what do you want to promote?
All right, so as far as the mixtape, y'all definitely stay tuned. Push it back to March Madness. I was trying to drop it a little sooner. My birthday, February 5th. I wanted to drop it on my birthday. I think my birthday on a Friday last time I checked. This year coming as well too. But my partner was like, that's too early. We ain't gonna, rush it. We want to make sure we put out some good quality material for the fans or whatever. So sometime in March, definitely expect the album all original as well. Got a couple shows coming up as well too. Club 1, the 15th. Definitely stay tuned. I'll keep checking out our IG. That's where all the action at Critical Condition Band on IG at Critical Condition Band. That's the main IG page. This follow the band, man. See what's going on. Got a couple vlogs coming up. We just moving and grooving, man. Just moving and grooving.
Make sure y'all send me when y'all have shows, because the whole reason I started Gogotalx in the first place was to be a show listing site. Obviously, it's not that much going on right now. You know what I'm saying? But but I know some people are still playing here and there. You know what I'm saying? So definitely send me the information, and I'll get it up on the site for you guys. Let me see. Oh, so real quick, I just wanted to touch on. So Trenton Priest said it's a different genre, but look at Dave Matthews Band. Why can't Go do something like what they did? But I don't know if you're familiar with the band, but it's the.
I couldn't quite hear the question.
He said different genres, but look at Dave Matthews Band. Why can't Go do something like what they did? And two things I will say about that. One is that it's the Dave Matthews Band, which again is an artist with a band. I think that they, I don't know that the band is totally hired, but also they, again, like he said, are a different genre of music. You know what I'm saying? That's more geared towards people that are super into live music. You know what I'm saying? Whereas the younger urban audience is not as into live music as, Dave Matthews Band typically, like right now, appeals to people that I'm 44-year-old white dude. Like that's the people that listen to Dave Matthews Band. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a little bit of a different thing. But again, going back to the fact that it's based around an artist and it's his band, it's around his name, and the band is the band. It's not like
Right.
you know the whole band is the artist.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely with you.
Yeah.
I don't know
So
who Dave Matthews is, but I understand the question where he's coming from with that.
you need to look it up. You probably won't. The music ain't probably up your alley, but they're from Charlottesville. Matter of fact, not too far from
Okay.
the DMV. But they're a huge band. And he went on to start a record label, and you know what I'm saying, signed some other artists, and then his manager went on to start Red Light Management, which is probably the biggest management company in the world right now. They manage Keys and a whole bunch of other people, you know what I'm saying, a whole bunch of other people. But yeah, check them out. But yeah, man, listen, I really appreciate you coming on. I know I owe you a phone call, or you owe me a phone call.
Gotta get that going, man.
Yeah. Nah, we'll make it happen for sure. And I really like what Perry's saying on here. So let's all jump on together. And I just want to see people succeed. I want to see Go-Go. I want to see Go-Go take its place as the most powerful live music that there ever has been. However, we have to understand that you can't create demand for the live experience that Go-Go brings without first creating records that people outside of the DMV will understand and comprehend. And I just want to commend you guys for doing a great job at doing that so far. And, best of luck to continuing that. And if there's anything I can do to help, let me know, and, give me a shout whenever. And, I just wish you guys all the best moving forward. And hopefully outside will open up pretty soon and we can get back to cranking. You know what I mean?
Definitely, man. If we can, definitely want to shout out my band. Y'all go follow my whole band. Definitely follow me, the king of CCB, E-Time _ CCB. Follow my man, rapper Zoe. He on IG, Big Danny J. She's a young, hot, fly, fresh, very powerful voice. Very, very powerful voice. Definitely go follow Big Danny J on IG. The legendary Kim Scott, she back home. That's indeed. Follow her on IG. My percussion player Chubbs on IG, Chubbaroo. Definitely follow him on IG. Hell of a producer, Chop. I know he on here as well too, to follow him on IG. Chuck, my lead guitar player. Shout out to my whole gang. And Chauncey. Like you definitely follow up your man. Chauncey, CCB star right there, man.
That's my
comic
relief. I call Chauncey.
Chauncey crazy, man. Definitely a pleasure, man, for having me on here today. Definitely a pleasure, man.
Sure. Mike Arnold had a question. He said, have you thought about doing another CCB reunion when things open back up? The first one was fire. He said, I'll make sure we have a babysitter so you can get Kiki out of the house.
Oh, yeah, man. Nah, I mean, as far as like a reunion, I mean, it got to make sense. You know what I'm saying? I think we done a reunion back then, and it made a lot of sense. But it just have to make sense. I mean, that's something to think about. That's pretty much, a few guys got to sit at the round table and just talk the business out and let's see what's going on. That's not our main focus of reunion right now. That's not going to make or break, CCB right now. The way we moving right now, I don't want to like rekindle somewhat an old flame and then people start to forget about what I have going on right now. I want to make sure. But that's something to think about. You never know what you might see in 2021. I mean, it's going to be a special year. It's going to be a special year.
Indeed. All right, man. Well, thanks again for joining. I really appreciate it. And we'll talk to you soon, man.
Okay. Appreciate it, my man.
Man, have a good one. All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. That was my man E-Time from CCB. They have been having a hell of a year with their roll call being featured on the Netflix film Residue, in addition to Niecy Nash and Lala doing a viral TikTok video to their 2008 hit My Fatty, as well as one of Megan Thee Stallion's dancers dancing to the same song, and Megan Thee Stallion posted it. So they've been having a big year, and look forward to hearing what they got coming up. Thank you again for tuning in. Next week, we got my man Blue Eyed Daryl from Junkyard Band. I can't remember I don't know if I have anybody for the following week after that yet, but I know that the 30th, the last Wednesday of the month, we got my man Stomp Dog from my old band, the Northeast Groovers. We're gonna come on and we're gonna talk to him. So it's like a drummer's December or something, because even though E-Time's the manager and the lead talker for CCB right now, he started out as the drummer. Or I guess he started out as the manager and then he became the drummer. So but anyway, yeah, so drummers December, I guess. Maybe I need to do that. That'll be like my annual thing, drummers December. We do all drummers December. But thank you guys again for tuning in. And we will see you next week. Head over to gogotalx.co. There aren't many shows up now. I know that the one show that's finalized right now is or that's up for ad right now is the Sirius Company live stream, which I think just got canceled. So that's going to be coming down. But we got a couple other shows, and hopefully CCB will send me their information about the show that they got coming up on the 15th, so we can get that up. So, once the shows start becoming more consistent, we'll have them up on gogotalx.co. But in the meantime, there's also a blog up there. So I put up the video of CeeLo doing go-go on the Soul Train Awards. Sirius Company put out a re-release their Christmas song video. There's the live stream of Backyard and New Impressions for Cavassier live stream. So there's a lot of good stuff over there to check. If you want to get one of these Go-Go as Fuck t-shirts, you can just head to gogotalx.co/shop. And thank you. Oh, yeah, let me give my the donation shout outs. I want to thank everyone who has donated to keep us up. Because this costs money to do this show every week, and damn, for some reason it's not letting me log in right now. But anyway, a good amount of people have been donating. Thank you very much. This service is not free for me to run these shows, and I'm not making any money off of them. So thank you for donating to help keep this content going. And please hit us up on the website if you have any questions or anyone that you want to see, on the shows coming up, and we'll try to get them on. And thanks again. Follow us on at GetGogoTix on Instagram if you don't already. All of the social links to the Instagram, the Facebook, the YouTube, everything are all at gogotalx.co. You can find everything there that you need to, and feel free to hit us up on the contact form, or there's a chat bot there as well too, if you have something that's urgent. Thank you again, everybody, for tuning in. I appreciate it. And thanks again one more time to E-Time. And shout out to the whole CCB band. All right. Or CCB, I guess that's like B is for band. So shout out to the whole CCB. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. We'll see you next week.